all of the things that I've been able to do is because I have made a phenomenal selection in my partner. And I often talk to folks about, now, doesn't mean you have to have a life partner or be married, but if you choose to, that choice matters. They're going to be able to help you achieve your goals professionally and personally, or they may detract from your ability to do so. So it is a choice that matters. And I say in the section of the book when I talk about Bill, love and resilience matter. And so you hear a very vulnerable and candid story about our life together and how we learned the importance of being there for one another, having a shared purpose, having shared goals, working through what it means to have a family with two careers. You hear more about our relationship in a mixed race marriage and some of the struggles that we faced as a result of that, but how we found love and forgiveness and a way forward in spite of that in ways that I think are hopeful and inspiring.
Well, it goes back to your point about how life and work don't have to be this bifurcated worlds. They don't have to be the bifurcated worlds. It can be like the the collaborative space where
Correct.
life and work come together. And I think what's also interesting, and I think this is a secret. This is a secret. It's the secret to success in business. And you're talking about it in depth. And that is, everybody in business wants to talk about the transactions. They want to
Right.
talk about what you can give them, what they need from you. I'm from accounting and I need these numbers. I'm from this department, I need this. And it's constantly transaction, transaction, transaction. But when we take the time to get to know humans,
Which is so critical. Like it is the secret sauce of life. And it absolutely
relationships,
should apply in business. I think my success is without a doubt based on the relationships, the partnerships, the people who have poured into me and continue to pour into me. And I consider it a privilege and an obligation to pay that forward. It is, in fact, while I was working, and even now in this next season of my life where I'm still working, but doing it in different ways, I'm a fan of having an agenda, right? I do talk about process is sexy when used in the best ways to really help teams stay focused on the things that matter and to simplify and streamline and take out complexity. But instead of just jumping into here are the things I need from you and here's the timeline by which I need it, I always start with a genuine, how are you? Right? And not performative. Like, how are you? And I try to steer people to talk to me about how are they doing outside of work first, right? Help me understand more about what inspires you, what gives you joy, what gives you energy, maybe what depletes your energy. What are the things, quite frankly, that maybe you may be struggling with outside of work that could be getting in the way of something that's going on at work? Or something that's giving you so much passion and joy that you're bringing that into the workplace as well. And I have found at times our agendas have adapted as a result of what someone has shared with me. They may be going through something that I was not aware of that takes us in a completely different direction. And we are problem solving around that. Maybe they need childcare. The childcare that they've had has been disrupted and it's impacting their ability to show up for work in the right way. Another leader I recall talking to, much to my surprise, was dealing with a parent who was aging and they had elder care issues. Again, these were things I had no idea were happening to them. And yet, when they felt like there was a safe space, a trusted space where they could share, hey, I'm still on the team. I still want to be someone you can count on. Like, I still want to win. But here are the barriers to that right now that I could use some help working through. Like, that to me is what leadership is all about and how we can show up for each other as humans and allow ourselves to deal with this thing that I just think is almost impossible, so-called balance, right? I don't believe in balance per se. It's this idea that our needs ebb and flow. And I hope that over our lifetime, we get some semblance of balance, but things are never perfectly balanced. And so if we just make that foundational and understood, we can begin to work openly, candidly, honestly towards making sure that every day we have the support that we need to do our best and be our best. And no one can do it alone. Like this myth that being a leader means you have all the answers and it's lonely at the top and being a leader can be isolating. Like I don't believe in that. Like we need to be doing things together and in community. And that go aloneness is something that I think we need to debunk and really focus on how we get better together, utilizing the expertise and strength that comes when you have a diverse, high performing team.
Imbalance is something that we all live with, and imperfection is something that once we accept,
Yeah.
we have a little bit more value of understanding the imbalance, right? We know that we're going to be imperfect. We know that we're going to dedicate more time to one area of our life than the other at certain times. This imbalance is made palatable by awareness. But here's the other secret part to what you're saying, and that is with these relationships, the more we get to know Cindy or Bob or Judy and their lives, they accept our imperfections as well
Absolutely.
because they like us. That means that we can say the wrong thing to them because we're imperfect, and we can come back and say, "Hey, you know what? I didn't mean it that way." And they go, "I know you didn't mean it that way. That's never been who you are," because they know you
They know
too.
you, exactly. And it's important for leaders to hear that, right, Scott? Because I think what happens as you become more senior, there is this expectation that you are perfect, that you've been put on a pedestal, that your life is somehow perfect and shiny as well. And that's just not true. And just, I think the more vulnerable a leader can be, and to say, look, I don't have all the answers. That's why we need a team, right? And I too have struggles outside of work and need help. I think that vulnerability and showing humanity really helps our teams look up to us and have more trust in us and know that it's okay for them to also ask for help and to see that asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Yeah, it also works in your family. So these lessons are also lessons that can be reciprocated in our own family. So the other side is so many times parents put pressure on their children to be what they were not, but
Mhm.
forget how difficult it was to get where they are today, and they did not get there overnight. But if we
Right.
understand what they're going through, how they're going through it, we're sharing with them. I tell my sons, who are both teenagers, all the time at all the things I failed at and how proud I am of them that they're
Yeah.
making better decisions than me, that I was searching for something and going through things that I don't want them to have to go through, but I share my failures instead of only sharing the successes. The year I sold my business, my oldest son asked me, he goes, "Dad, you made a comment and I don't understand it." And I said, "What is it?" He goes, "You said that it was the most successful year of your career in your life and the hardest year of your life. Like it was challenging in a way that you never dreamed." And I said, "It was the worst year of my life. Like
Well, you
I don't
learn a lot then. You just learned a ton, right? Failure is a part of
perfect.
learning.
It's the
Absolutely.
uncomfortability of being completely uncomfortable,
Mhm.
not knowing what's coming next, the uncontrollability, hoping that everything you've laid out as a plan is perfect. I mean, it's no different than you after 32 years at Target, you've launched into a new endeavor,
Which
and this is
is
challenging, right?
it is super challenging. But, I often say that as humans, we're perfectly imperfect and that life is about progress versus perfection. And so we're constantly evolving. And I think that is so important. And if you're not failing, then you're not trying hard enough, right? Failure is an important part of leadership. I think the important thing, though, is to learn from those mistakes, right? They shouldn't be career ending, they shouldn't be life ending, but they should be an opportunity to truly learn and grow and apply those learnings. And so in so many parts of my life, I'm like, I'm going to fail, but I'm going to fail fast, right? I'm going to test, learn, iterate, fail, apply the learnings and get back up and test, learn, iterate, fail, and allow myself to move forward in ways that make that failure worth it. And I hope then by example, it shows others that taking risks, calculated risks, smart risks is a great way to learn and grow. And I do talk a bit about your risk appetite in the book. So often professionally we talk about a risk appetite, but in this context, I'm asking people to think about it in their personal lives. What is the kind of risks you're willing to take? How do you make sure as a part of your life and leadership plan that you're really thoughtful about what that means, both in your personal and professional life? It shouldn't mean no risk. And it will never mean that you have no time in your life where you're uncomfortable. You've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because I do think on the backside of discomfort and that risk is often opportunity. And it leads to that if you can work your way through it. And then that tingling of fear and anxiety that comes will feel more familiar in a way that you're actually more excited about it, because there's something great on the other end.
If you like clips like this, I have a similar clip here. And if you want to watch the full video, click here.